welcome back to Mimi's Mixed Bag. Thank you for stopping back by, and if this is your first video of mine and like what you see, would love you to hit that subscribe button. I've not posted in a week because I have been on a girls trip to the Smoky Mountains. I'm working on that video, and so be sure and check back by the weekend. I'll be sharing all the fun we had. But today I'm not crafting. I'm actually going to create something in the kitchen. Now every special occasion I create my grandchildren a little goodie bag or basket. I usually try to fill it with mostly non-candy and sweets, but I found this little Halloween themed cookie that I thought would be cute to add to it. It's a Better Homes and Gardens recipe from a few years ago. Super simple ingredients. It's a chocolate shortbread cookie. It's where you can bake it and freeze it, or freeze it and bake it, whichever works out best for you. So I'm going to create it and show you what it looks like to add to their Halloween bucket. So let's go to the kitchen and let me show you how easy this will be to make. Down in the description box, I will have the Better Homes and Gardens link to the recipe. You will need all-purpose flour, sugar, butter, unsweetened cocoa, an egg, and some vanilla. 6 ingredients. Now this recipe makes approximately 4 dozen cookies. I don't need that many, so today I'm going to be splitting the recipe in half and creating about 2 dozen cookies. But you can certainly just print the recipe down below and make as many as you need. Alright, the first thing I did was soften my butter for just a few seconds in the microwave and added in my sugar. I'm going to take my hand mixer and just mix it for about a minute until it's well combined. Since I'm splitting the recipe, I'm going to only need a half of an egg. So I'm going to crack the egg and stir it up, and then just use 2 tablespoons of the egg, and then add my vanilla. Alright, now that my wet ingredients are well combined, I'm going to add in my flour and unsweetened cocoa powder. I'm going to form it into a big ball and get it out of this bowl. And just got it on a piece of parchment paper here. Now the recipe does call for you to chill the dough, which is usually a good thing. It does help prevent your cookie from spreading too thin, but I tend to be a little lazy with that sometimes. Now me halving the recipe is supposed to yield 24 cookies. Now seeing what little dough I have, they're going to be like $1 size cookies, and I really wanted my cookies a little bigger than that. So I'm just going to make my cookies a little bigger, and I'll probably get about 12 cookies out of this halving the recipe. Alright, I've got 13 cookie balls rolled out. It's the perfect baker's dozen. I use the medium Pampered Chef cookie scoop, or you can just roll them out about the size of a walnut. So if you halve the recipe and you want bigger cookies, you're only going to get about a dozen. Alright, I transferred my balls over here to my cookie sheet with my silicone mat, and then find a flat bottom wine glass or something, and since I didn't cut them out into shapes, this is just the easiest way to get round cookies. Just press down to about 1/4 of an inch and then lift up. I had to actually peel the flattened cookie off the bottom of my measuring cup, but that way I can get perfectly symmetrical cookies without having to cut them out. All right, now they're ready for the oven. I'm going to put them in a 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes and start watching them. Alright, after 11.5 minutes I took the cookies out. They were done enough, and I certainly didn't want to over bake them. Now, you know, anytime you try a new recipe, you're not really sure if the cookies are going to spread thin or keep their shape, and whether or not chilling the dough makes a difference. But these spread very little, and that was without even chilling the dough. So just be sure and keep that in mind. That makes this recipe even more easier. I think this recipe should be corrected that it only makes 24 cookies. I can't imagine making them any smaller than this to give someone, or even trying to do a little decoration on them. So they're the perfect size. All right, it's been about 45 minutes, and I believe my cookies are cool enough to move on now. They cool a lot quicker than a cake does. All right, now the recipe calls for you to have a container of just store-bought frosting, vanilla, cream cheese, whatever flavor you have that's white colored that will show up on the chocolate cookie. Now you can use a piping bag and tips, whatever you have, but if you have just a Ziploc baggie, that's a perfect little homemade piping bag for what we're going to do. We're going to create some little ghosts on the cookies. So I'm going to put a couple big scoops in my piping bag and I'm going to do one little snip on that corner and do my 3 dots. All right, I'm not exactly sure how big I need my dots to be, but I'd rather do not enough than too much. Just about something like that. All right, I've got my 3 dollops on each cookie, and I'll find out here real quick if that's enough or not. They're about a little bit bigger than a raisin. All right, and it says to take an offset spatula into the center of the dollop and then just press down on the dollop and then pull down. So I can immediately tell now you're going to need more. And just drag it out till you drag your icing down to the edge of the cookie. And it will create 3 little ghosts on each cookie. After about 3 or 4 cookies, you honestly get better at it, especially holding one cookie in your hand and doing it. Now, I think the true trick to this is this round tip offset spatula. It really does the trick. All right, now as far as little eyes on the ghost, you could certainly use mini chocolate chips or any kind of chocolate sprinkles. I think the candy eyes at the store would be too big. I happen to have just a little baggie of some colorful sprinkles that I pulled out, and I think I'm gonna put 2 little eyes on each ghost, maybe different colors. You know, you certainly could use the little icing gel, something like that. And that the scraping of the spatula gives it that little ghosty transparent look, so the cookie shows through the ghost. I think it's just adorable. Store-bought frosting does not harden up like royal icing, but it will dry out a little bit. So I'm gonna let it set out maybe another 30-45 minutes before I try to put them in a baggie, because I don't want to get the baggie sticky with icing. All right, to package up the cookies, I always keep a box of these little pleated sandwich bags. I think most of us know what they are. They're not the Ziploc. They're the inexpensive little fold over, thinner plastic, little plastic bags. What I do is open the bag up, put the cookie in the corner, and then cinch it up with a little ribbon, and then tie a little ribbon around the edges and cut off the extra plastic. Now this one right here is done with an actual sandwich bag. It's done the same exact way, except for I cut the Ziploc off, put the cookie in the corner so that the bag will fit the cookie a little better, and then cinch it up with a ribbon. This is an easy way to hand out individual cookies to co-workers or to kids and things like that. It's always cheaper to use the pleated sandwich baggies. All right, friends, here are my ghost cookies all packaged and plated up. I don't know if you've ever priced the little iced custom cookies in your area, but here they're anywhere from $2 to $4, just depends on how elaborate they are. When it comes to kids, they don't know the difference between a 10-cent cookie and a $3 cookie, and I know my grandchildren will love these. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. This chocolate shortbread recipe is definitely a keeper. I hope you try it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back in a few days. Bye-bye.